It's BB and Mary, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies, Burn After Watching.
Welcome everybody to the Burn After Watching podcast.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Borderland.
I'm Mary.
And today we are talking about Challenger,
Yes.
the new Zendaya film, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Probably
Yes.
pronounced that wrong.
That's pretty good.
We also watch is
Call Me By Your Name.
2017 film Call Me By Your Name with
Yes.
Timothée Chalamet for the first time.
Yep.
Today we're going to discuss both of them fully with spoilers. So this is a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen those films and you want to wait and you don't want to be spoiled anything, just wait and come back to it later.
Don't forget to subscribe
Yes.
before we start.
Subscribe, like, follow, find us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, every podcast app that exists, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, we are everywhere. We are posting videos, we are posting episode content everywhere. Find us. Let's get started. Let's jump into
What?
Call Me By Your Name. I
Rubbing your eyebrows.
have
Have
Yeah.
you? Just a quick question. Was it your first watch?
yes,
Okay.
first watch for both.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard a lot about Call Me By Your Name. I knew about the peach scene
Yeah.
or nectarine, whatever it is.
Apricot.
And I knew about like the theme and like what is the story about.
Yeah.
But I never seen any film from this director. I've heard a lot about him. I've been intrigued. I've been wanting to watch this film, and I've been waiting for one of those episodes to like, force us to watch Call Me By Your Name,
And plus, it's with Timothée Chalamet,
which we love.
which we love,
Really like
especially
him.
in Dune.
He's a baby in this.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's
So
so
young.
young. So it was in 2018.
2017.
2017. So if we think that it was filmed in maybe 2015, I mean, he must have been like, what, 18?
Well, it's 9 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I don't know how old he is now.
But great performance. I really liked his performance.
He was born in 95, so I was trying to do quick math.
So he's 3 years
Younger than me.
you. So he's like 29. So he must have been 20. Yeah. In his early 20s. 9 years ago.
that makes sense. And
Mathematics.
And I think my favorite part of the film is Timothée Chalamet. So he plays a young, I would say he probably play like a teen. Like I feel like he's probably
A
like
teen?
16 or 17 in that film.
Well, I thought he was not 18 because that was the whole like problematic with their relationships.
Yes, he's 17.
Right. That's it. Okay.
So he played a 17-year-old teen that
Yeah.
lived in Italy with his family. His dad is some kind of teacher or
Professor.
academic.
Yeah.
And he's receiving, it seems like every year,
Interns.
intern or student, someone to help him with his work or
Yeah.
to learn with him. And this year it's Oliver,
Yeah.
who's played by Armie Hammer. And we basically follow just
Like a summer.
a summer in Italy with kind of the
Them-
family dynamic for
Yeah.
like a pretty solid hour.
Yeah. And them two meeting and their relationship kind of evolving. But I understand that now you're talking about the first part.
Yeah. So,
Really?
So
Yeah.
I think we both agree that
Oh, yeah.
visually it's a
Oh,
really gorgeous film.
so pretty.
The aesthetic is
Oh
really
my God.
nice.
Yes. I really felt like sitting around that table and eating all the fruits, plaid tablecloth, the whole, wine, taking a bicycle ride, just going in the city. Beautiful.
And
Everything was so pretty.
It's set in the 80s,
Yeah.
right? So
Even the clothes they're wearing, like
Yeah.
Oliver's usually wearing today would be a vintage Polo
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren shirt, little Sperry boat shoes. Yeah, love all that.
and it's very much like slice of life at the beginning.
Yeah.
You just follow all the characters going through kind of their day-to-day, going swimming, eating, talking, playing music.
Little love story between Elliot and a girl named Matilda, I think.
Yeah, and it's just... So I like the aesthetic. I like the music mostly.
Yeah.
I do think that within the first hour, we both felt, okay, like, where is this going?
We paused the movie. I think there was 45 minutes left. And I said, I feel that it's more pretty than interesting.
Yeah. Because you do sense that Timothy's character, Elio, is attracted or interested in Oliver. Mm-hmm. But nothing is like very conclusive. Nothing is very like direct. It's very much like in passing, where nobody's like addressing it like enough, where you can tell, like, is this where the film would actually go? Like, if you didn't know anything about the film,
yeah.
I didn't know if I would be like, oh, this is a love story about those two characters.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can sense of interest, but at the same time, you sense interest between Elio and the girl, and Oliver has his own kind of girl that likes him as well. So it's kind of like the film is really much not going in any direction super hard for the first hour.
But then, I don't know when this happens, but there's one scene where he puts his head in his shorts. He's lying on Oliver's bed, which is his bed because he's lending his room to him. And there's a pair of red shorts on the bed, and he literally puts the short on his head, like smelling the shorts. And it's not uncomfortable, but it's a very intimate moment that we get to share with Elio. And that clearly confirms that he's, attracted to him, sexually attracted to him as well.
Yeah, it's kind of very, like, what I liked about his performance, Timothée Chalamet, is that he captured this awkward, naive first love
absolutely
very well. Mm-hmm. Like, because it is awkward. Like, watching him, it's almost as if his body cannot contain his impulses. Like, he wants to do something, and then he changed emotion and he's very like, he changed emotion very quickly. It feels like for 1 second you want to kiss him, and then jump in on him, and
he
then
hates him. He's sad. He's mad.
And then he's ashamed, and then he's kind of pulling back.
I agree.
And he played that very well, but it is awkward, but in a kind of sweet way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in the second part of the film, that's when both of us were like, okay, this is getting really interesting, and them two kind of opening up to each other and just exploring the world together, and they get to go on a trip as well together.
And basically, we get to also feel and understand this relationship from two sides. So Timothée Chalamet is very much young and a little bit more not courageous, but he's willing to take risk. Well, where Oliver,
I just want to say I agree with you. And plus, since he's 17, I think he doesn't realize the impact that Oliver being an adult is quite a problem in a certain way. Like, it's never, it's kind of addressed because Oliver says, you're not going to hold this against me at a certain moment. So Elio is really naive and keep going.
Well, I think there's that. There's both perception of what it means to be together and have this relationship, and the risk that comes out of that.
Yeah.
But also because of the age, but also because of just homosexuality in the 80s, really. Mm-hmm. And I think that Oliver is a lot more prudent. He's
aware.
He's saying, like, I don't want this to harm you in any way. I don't want any repercussion for any of us. And I think he's a lot more aware of what it means to come out, or like to be seen as homosexual in the 80s. Maybe you've dealt with this in the past and you want to protect Timothée Chalamet. So there's also this dynamic that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, this is kind of this is confirmed when he finally leaves and they're no longer together, physically together, nor together. He calls. So Oliver phones Elio, and he says, I have news. I'm getting engaged. And so they talk about their homosexuality, and Oliver says to Elio, if I would have said that to my dad, he would have sent me off to a school or whatever to make him not homosexual. And then after, so we kind of understand that Oliver could maybe never come out because of the fear of his dad's reaction. And then after, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the speech that Elio's dad gives him.
I think that's before.
Is it? Anyways, it doesn't matter the order, but that's, to me, is so beautiful and touching because it allows Elio to be himself, to feel, to experience, and really that specific scene really tied the movie together for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think the speeches that give.
But you're right, the speech was before.
Yeah, it's once Oliver just left.
Yeah, and it makes sense because when Oliver calls and he talks about his dad, Elio just had his dad's speech to kind of comfort him and validate him.
And the speech is in basically his dad tell him that he basically know what's been happening, and that
they have a beautiful friendship.
That he's okay with it.
Maybe more. Yeah.
And that he's accepting, and you want him to be who he wants to be, and also that he shouldn't, even though it hurts now, that he shouldn't try to kind of bury the pain, because not feeling now means you will feel less later, and the more you do it, the less you have to give back to the person that you will eventually end up with. And it's a really beautiful speech. And I like that aspect of it. I like the relationship. I think the first hour, that is a little bit more, at first it feels very sweet and nice and like joy, like very happy kind of moments. And then once you kind of look back, knowing that there's all this lost time between Timothy and Oliver, Elio and Oliver, that they could have been together for so long, so much more, and that it was all lost. And I think that the movie made you feel this loss a bit more by giving you an hour of runtime where nothing very, like, really happened.
It's just life.
And you're like, oh God, like, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
For them to, like, find each other, like, earlier. And that's interesting. I think on a rewatch, maybe you start picking up the little things that, like, they're both doing to, like, send signal to each other, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
it was.
I like it.
Me too.
It's sweet.
Yeah, but it's not. It's good, but it's not great. But,
yeah, exactly.
But the 40 last minutes for me really, really were interesting, you know. But the first hour, I felt like there was maybe a lack of meaningful conversations. I don't know. It was just a little bit like, let's go for a swim. Let's go for a bike ride. Let's go for a bike ride. Let's go play this game. And then there's family arguing at the table. And just like, I was like, okay, but can you give me more?
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, the ending kind of, I don't know.
But I think you could have had the same ending with more character building in the first hour. I feel like it's setting up a lot of interesting things. Yeah. But it is a bit kind of pieces there and there that, you know, none of them are important by themselves.
I agree.
But as a whole, yes, it kind of created this collage that give you a feel for, like, the summer that we are going through. Yeah. But there's probably other way you could have done that would have been more impactful for the last 45 minutes.
And also, when that phone when that phone rings and Elio picks up and it's Oliver telling him that, you know, he's getting engaged and that relationship has been going on and off for 3 years, I felt so sad for Elio, you know? And I feel that at that age, and you really feel that in his eyes, that, like, he's been betrayed, you know? By Oliver never saying, oh, yes, you know, I have... And when he says he's getting engaged, is it a woman?
Yes.
It's a woman, okay. So, yeah, you know...
I would believe
the movie ends on this. Oliver's wearing this crazy shirt and he goes by the fireplace and it's snowing behind him. And he looks so sad, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know if he feels betrayed. I understand what you mean.
Or sad or just like confused,
obviously
you know?
He's hurt.
Yes.
Because it's like the naive first love that he thought, you know, everybody's first love, they believe it's going to be like forever. And I think it's just this naive... kind of like, especially for him, if he was truly fully homosexual and not attracted to women, but that was his one time where he actually met someone that he liked and that he had a connection to. Maybe it feels like it's only opportunity he truly had.
Yeah,
and at that
maybe.
time, right in that moment, you feel like he's been kind of robbed of a chance at happiness in a way. But I don't know. I think it's more of a result of him being so young than like a true betrayal, because I think Oliver has been kind of like
trying
never
to protect him, but at the same time, we can still question his honesty, towards Elio. He never mentioned,
But I think he was not with someone, because he was also
but
like
he could have still said, I want you to know that, I'm queer. I've been in a relationship with, maybe because I feel that maybe because he was older, he thought Elio was too young to know, or.
But at the same time, Elio was also sleeping with girls.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if it
I
warrants
think
a conversation.
But I think that was to
make him jealous. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't think it was
or
sincere.
To experiment before,
Yeah, I think it was not sincere. But I don't know if Oliver is. I agree with you that he could. Most likely,
he left it.
He's the older person. He could have talked about it and addressed it. But at the same time, it's kind of it is playing on this kind of summer love, kind of like, impulse moment.
Yeah.
That maybe like feels like it's going a million miles an hour. So there's no time.
But at the same time, the movie never. I think it's based on a book, you said, right?
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know if in the book maybe he addresses that.
Yeah.
Even his own dad mentioned to him that he could have been with a man.
See, I wasn't sure if that's what he meant.
Understood. That's what I understood.
I think what I understood is that maybe Ilio's mom is not necessarily the love of his life. But I don't know if he was hinting as if he was also potentially bisexual.
Queer, yeah.
Yeah, but...
Oh, that's what I thought.
I thought that at first, but when he said at the end, does mom know? I guess you could interpret that, does
mom
she
know
knows,
about Elio?
Or, Elio and Oliver, or does she know that his dad might be...
Oh, I really thought it was about... okay, yeah. It could have been for the dad.
Yeah, like to me, I at first I was like, is it...
Okay,
does mom know that you might be attracted to men as well? But after I thought, no, most likely he was talking about Oliver and Elio and their story, because he says no.
Still. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't know. I don't feel like... I don't see it. I think that he was comforting him and talking about maybe the fact that Ilio's mom is not necessarily the love of his life, or that he buried pain in the past and they get him to a point where you feel like he can't be 100% himself with his wife.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's probably, like, I felt the same thing as you. I was like, is the dad coming out to the son now? Like, it was a bit ambiguous.
That's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Would you... No, but it's okay to have our own interpretation.
Oh, yeah,
That's
of course, yeah.
The real question is, would you burn or save this movie?
I think I'm gonna save it.
Okay.
I would want to watch it again.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, maybe. In the summer, maybe.
Gosh, it really gives me...
It's a great...
I really want to go to Italy.
Yeah, it's a great kind of in-the-moment, vibey kind of film. Soundtrack.
Wait, how many points on 5?
Wait, first. The soundtrack, I didn't love always.
Me neither.
I think some songs were cheesy.
We're on the nose. Oh, yeah. Oh,
just
yeah,
like too much, like you said, like the lyrics were like perfectly matching the situation.
When he's in love, I love you. Okay, yeah.
That was a bit too much.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's a criticism that I have for Challenger as well.
Me too.
So I see a pattern here.
Yep.
But yeah.
That's one of that's one of the first things I said when we ended the movie.
So save 3.5 out of 5 for Call Me By Your Name.
I would save and 3 out of 5.
3, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Challengers. Zendaya.
I love her.
I'm okay with her. I don't mind her.
She's so pretty.
Really? Anyway.
It's funny because when we sat down in the movie theater, I said I really don't have high hopes for this movie. And you're like, really?
I had high hopes.
Yeah, I know.
I've been hyped.
Yeah.
I've been hyped because of...
To me, the whole like threesome in the trailer, I was like, what is this? Like who? Like
the marketing is deceiving. It's playing
Really?
off this like sexual threesome
oh boy.
thing a lot, and it's really... And I mean, everyone is saying the horniest movie of the year, the
What?
sexiest, and it's
I
not
know.
even that sexual.
I mean, there's
It's not
a
crazy.
sexual tension
But it's
throughout
not
the whole
like-
movie.
It's not like nonstop. There's more tennis than sex, and they barely talk about tennis in the
Yeah.
Anyway, what got me hyped is the poster.
Tell me. The poster.
The poster with like
Really?
which is drawn. It's kind of like 80s aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
And it really got that vibe that I
really?
was like, ooh, like that looks like a movie that know what it is, that have a visual language, that have an aesthetic, and it's if it's masterful, if it's well done, it's gonna be a blast. And I was like, tennis, 80s, kind of retro,
Yeah.
flash dance kind of like thing. I don't know why, but like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, I was like, I'm excited for this.
I thought it was cheesy.
Like that aesthetic.
The poster.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the glasses?
Yeah. I was
What-
like, what's this?
I mean, it's different.
yeah.
I prefer this than like all three of them standing with like on a tennis court.
Where to start, my love?
Well, first of all,
I think maybe we can start with.
I
I was gonna say maybe we can talk about how the story is told,
yeah.
which
so,
I think is a good idea. I like that.
so. There's a lot of jump in time.
Yes.
So we start in 2017 or 2019, 2019, and then we often go back in time to
Yeah.
learn how character kind of
Their
how they
story,
met.
yeah.
Multiple point in time. So we go back all the way to like early 2010, and then
And I really
kind of
like-
jump in between all of those dates.
But to me, though, even if it's smart, there's an overuse of that. And I got kind of tired at a certain point with that.
I was fine with it. I didn't feel like it was confusing or overused, but I do think that they should have done a bit more to separate
It was too
the
fast.
era or whatever. Like
Well, I mean, the 2000s was clearer because of
They
the
were young.
music, like young.
younger. They were a lot
well,
younger. They
yeah.
looked younger.
Yeah, that was well done.
I felt like the thing I didn't like was Zendaya and Kurt Time had like a short haircut, and then in other like the haircut
Oh, I
was
like
the
that.
only thing that changed.
I really like that but it was kind of stereotype in a way where, when women get older, they get their hair cut shorter. But it was a way to make her look older. So I get that.
But she didn't look
She did-
older
she
to
did.
me.
Oh, yeah, she
like
did.
all the two guys look a lot older.
Yeah.
They look like they age, and she didn't look like she aged enough. And also, to be honest,
TBH.
Zendaya, I bought her in. So the character she plays is this like amazing tennis star. She's still in college at Stanford, I think, at that point, and she's basically amazing. She's one of the greatest talent in tennis. She has like endorsement deal with Adidas. Everybody like want her to go pros, but she's staying at the college level. And she meets Hart and Patrick, who are player that play doubles at Stanford, and then they basically both fall in love with her. That's kind of like the premise of the story. And
Yeah.
when Zendaya was this younger tennis player in university, I was really buying her. Like
Yeah.
that works for me. Her acting was good. I didn't feel like it was amazing. Like some people are saying, like that's it. She's winning the Oscar.
Oh, boy. Whoa.
I mean, I haven't seen any other like amazing. Like I think she was as good or like slightly below Kristen Stewart in Love Lies Bleeding. Like I don't think
to me, she was below.
but she was good. But she was not like
she was
amazing.
good. No, that's it. I agree with you. Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
And two, I didn't buy her when she was older. This femme fatale.
Yeah.
Like
Rich,
manipulate and like she's supposed to have all this power. It just didn't work for me that much. I feel like she
understand.
doesn't give that vibe of like, who I was picturing is
For that role?
Not for that role, but like when I'm picturing this exact type of role,
Yeah.
is the wife of Kevin Spacey in House of Cards.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever, I don't think you've seen the show.
No,
right?
but I know about it.
And she's exactly like Zendaya. She manipulates, she uses sex, she uses power, she uses anything she can to get her way. But you buy her. She's this like strong woman that you can totally see kind of, taking advantage and being smarter than and always one step. Zendaya didn't buy this at all.
Really?
I just didn't feel like, oh yeah, that's someone that like is holding this power over everyone.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't mind it, but I agree with you.
So right away for me, like all the later part, it's hard for me to really buy into it. And because I understand people love Zendaya, people like worship her, but like you telling me that those two guys have been like so in love with her for a decade, 10 years, that they still can't let go and move on? Like 10 years. And Art
That's true.
actually is married to her, and Patrick is still
obsessed
with her.
Yeah.
And she used that to her advantage. She like sleep with him to like get her way, and she used our power over Art, who's also like
his husband,
in a bad relationship, legit, like in a terrible marriage. And he's also just doing whatever she wants. But like I'm like, I can understand him. He's married to her, so it's more complicated. But like, how can two guys for 10 years cannot move on? I mean, he shouldn't move on. He's married to her. But like Patrick, it's like, that's for me is hard to believe. That's like Zendaya would have that type of power over the both of them for that long.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's weird, but I feel like the whole story to me was a little bit boring. I got bored. I was like, jump in times. Okay. I like you. I enjoyed when they were younger. That was more fun. But as they get adults, I was like, why don't you leave? Why don't you, I don't know. Maybe it seems simple when I say it like this, but yeah, I got kind of bored. And I must say that the music, you said this for Call Me By Your Name, was so distracting to me.
There's an asterisk. I like the main soundtrack by Trent Reznor, who was the same guy that did the soundtrack for The Killer.
Oh.
The like, the beat.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't love how they use it.
I didn't love it.
Because they put it over just two people chatting, like super...
And so strong that it overpowers the discussion.
I like
in the spa thing.
Some of the time it worked. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't.
It got on my nerves.
But sometimes it really worked. There was a conversation where Zendaya and Art are on the couch, and the music starts when Zendaya kind of go on the attack, and then it resolve, and then like Art respond, and then it pick up. That worked for me, but sometimes like in the sauna, it didn't work. It was kind of too much.
And then other songs like Christmas songs.
This I will agree with you. The gospel angel music.
What? Why?
Didn't work. It make it.
I was like out of the movie in a second.
I was kind of like it made it almost laughable.
Yeah.
So especially like some of the moments are like super supposed to be
serious,
intense.
Yeah.
And they play like angel gospel music, and that didn't work at all.
Me neither.
At all.
And the other thing that I was like, why and what is happening when there was this like wind storm when she sleeps with Patrick.
Yeah.
And it's just winding. Like it's just so fucking windy. Her hair is like, and there's papers and there's like rolls like in cowboy movies.
But it's a storm.
Like, why though?
But
why is there a storm?
Well, so
how does it serve the story?
So I think, well, it doesn't serve the story, but like
then why is there a storm? Like it's not a small storm.
But I mean, there's a storm, so it delayed the match, which means that they can be in the sauna together and they get to meet. So it delayed the match. Two, I think it's a useful thing for like if you get confused with a jump in time, when there's a storm, you know that when that happened.
Yeah, true.
And then
but still though is over the top.
Yeah, I think the other thing is the I guess metaphor of like the tension in the air and like how like their life is getting like basically like sweep away and like turn that's how I read it.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
I really okay, so I know that you didn't love the cinematography maybe as much as me, but for me the tennis part were really cool.
I love the shot from below.
Yeah, especially the end.
That was really cool.
They did a shot from below as if you were like underground
Under
looking
the
up.
tennis court.
And they also did a POV. The camera was the ball, and that was insane. I love that part.
I
really
didn't like
cool.
that. That was so 2002.
What?
No,
No.
I didn't like that.
No, I really like that. That was
like
really
a
cool.
Blair Witch Project.
No, it was original because like
I
you were
didn't like
the
that.
ball. It would give you like a different perspective.
Ah.
What I didn't like though, so the whole movie kind of basically you start where Art and Patrick will like finally play a match against each other.
Yeah.
Which they never. So Art never won over Patrick. Patrick has always been the better tennis player. Art is also like kind of a on the decline. Like his career is not going as well as he wanted to be. But Zendaya want him to perform, so she keep pushing him to go.
Yeah, but he's clearly not motivated anymore.
No, he's on the way
Yeah.
out. Yeah, he wants to retire.
Yeah.
But he's kind of like, I'm going to do this last one. And it basically we kind of learn, or we end up like Zendaya basically arrange for the both of them to be facing each other at this small tournament. That way, I think she believed that would wake up Art
Yeah.
and make him like a bit more...
Want to play back in the game.
Build his confidence.
Yeah, right.
But so here's the thing. In Atlanta, Zendaya goes to Patrick and she says, I need you
To lose.
to lose. I need you to make sure that Art wins so he can win confidence again. That's 2 years before the final match that we saw, right?
Yeah.
Now, she says, if you do this, I'll sleep with you, whatever. She sleep with him. So technically, he should have lost on purpose in Atlanta so Art can build his confidence 2 years before. Now, is my understanding that either he didn't lose and that didn't work, or like she did the same deal again for this new last match? Like, how is this connected? I almost
Because
feel...
what you're saying is there's a 2-year delay?
Yeah, between Atlanta and the final match. Because Atlanta, I think Atlanta is in 2017 and the final match is in 2019.
I don't know, but what I understood is for the last match, Art looks at his wife, kind of knowing, oh, you asked Patrick to lose against me, because he keeps making mistakes on purpose. He throws the ball in the net like 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
Then he gets a penalty for time because he doesn't serve.
Yeah.
And then so it's as if Art realizes that Patrick is making those mistakes on purpose. So he looks at him like looking for an answer. Did my wife ask you to do this? And he confirms by putting the ball in the middle of his racket.
Which is a signal that he slept with her.
Right.
And
then they play real tennis, and they kind of hug in the end. Him realizing that Patrick is probably a better friend than his own wife is a wife to him. But to me, I didn't realize there was a match in between.
Well, there's the Atlanta thing, I believe. Like this is kind of confusing, the timeline.
And this is why I don't love the timeline, because because if I understand that it's the base for the story, how the story is told. But if this story was told without the jump in times, it's not that interesting.
I still think it's interesting. So like the fact that you have 2 rivals, one of them never beat the other one, and you have this wife that used to date Patrick and then dated Art after, but there's still kind of tension there. Like, that's interesting, right? But I still think that it has some major issues in pacing.
Oh, yeah.
In, like story structure and just overall, like the value of the story that we're getting out of it. Like, personally, people love it, but like we don't see that much value in the story itself. That's more of a preference thing.
And it's funny because I heard people saying, oh, the characters are so well fleshed out and you see their whole psychology through the years. And I so agree with you when you say, how are these 2 guys still obsessed with her over 10 years?
Like I understand
I mean,
art, but like
yeah,
Simon,
because he's
Patrick,
married.
Simon, Patrick seems like. So for me, maybe Patrick is not as Patrick. I don't know why Patrick is not as obsessed with
Patrick. He's not obsessed.
Well, so here's the thing, right? He want her to coach him.
Yeah.
So he asked her.
But she offered because when they were in a relationship, she offered to coach him.
Yeah, but he refused.
Yeah.
But now that he's at the end of his career, he goes to her, and that's the thing. He goes to her in the 2019 timeline.
Yeah.
To ask her to coach him, since he says Hart is not, he's giving up. He's going to retire. He's going to tell you soon for sure. I can tell. So you should come. So there's also an angle for me with the final match where she had both ways kind of figure out. If Art win, she has her husband building up confidence.
Yeah.
And she can drive him to like Wimbledon or whatever, like to win the Challengers.
Wimbledon.
If Patrick win, then she can start coaching him and then still get her way and like basically support like one of the winners.
Right, because the night before, her husband had told her, "Will you still love me if I retire?"
Yeah.
And he clearly said to her, "I want to retire."
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, she did have both ways figured out. She's clearly like a manipulative, you know,
she manipulates both of them.
Yeah, her true self reveals with the story unfolding, but
all she wants is to be in the spotlight in tennis.
Yeah.
And she had an accident, so she can't play tennis. Mm-hmm. And she's bitter about it. So she's living her life through anyone, like the both of them, really. She's trying to find a way to live her own life through one of them.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
Yeah.
But this, like, I guess the ending, which I didn't love, is that basically both of them screw her over, where like she doesn't get her way. She had like whoever wins, she's good. She gets to do what she wants. But the way that they kind of resolve this by like reuniting and like choosing themselves over Zendaya is kind of like saying a big middle finger to her, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then she just scream at the end, like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And then that's it.
I know. I was like, and yeah.
I
didn't hate it.
No, it's not bad. It's not a bad film.
But
it's not badly made or anything.
It was not great.
But it's not exceptional.
And it's funny because I heard someone say, comparing the movie with Whiplash, what it takes to be great and to achieve
the theme.
Right.
I see.
Me
That's
too.
it.
But it
Not
has nothing to do with the execution of Whiplash to me. Yeah.
Look, it's a good film. I get why people like it.
I
get why people like it, but I think it's overhyped.
Yes.
You know what it reminds me of?
And I think Zendaya, let's be honest here, okay? She's a pretty woman.
I don't think she's pretty, but that's me.
I think she's a pretty woman. And I think the whole threesome marketing, yes, people are attracted to sex. Sex sells. There's a threesome with a beautiful woman. And
it's not a threesome, though.
No, but they make it.
It's not even happening in the film.
Yes, the three of them kiss.
That's it.
Anyway, I still think that this hyped the marketing and people to go see the movie in theater. I don't think it's a bad film. I don't think it's a great film. I would burn this movie.
But whoa, you're going too fast. So even if the marketing is selling you on something, once you see it though, and you realize that it's not that, then people have to wake up. I think
they can have their own opinion, but
I think it's overhyped. I think
agree.
People are. It's kind of the Barbie phenomenon, where like there's so much hype, and then everybody loves it, and then you feel like you need to love it. And then Zendaya is so big right now that it's this feeling where you can't like really not like the film, and people are like overscoring it and valuing its impact.
I agree.
And again, it doesn't mean like Barbie was a good film, and this is a good film, in my opinion, but I still think people are like way overboard with it.
Oh yeah, 100%. To me, Barbie was the hype, and people loving this movie was more justified.
I think it's
over
similar.
Challenger. Oh no, not me.
What this remind me of, like every year there's a movie that everyone likes and that you don't like. Last year was Past Lives.
Yeah.
Which is funny
We
because
didn't love.
it was written by the wife of the guy that wrote Challenger.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
And
fact.
this year, most likely going to be Challenger that like we both don't like and everybody seems to love.
I mean, there has to be other people out there that are going to watch the movie
I've seen
and feel
some
the
mid,
same way
yeah.
as us. You know.
I've seen some mid
Yeah.
kind
And
of just
I mean,
okay.
it's okay if some people
Yeah, of
like
course.
it. But I think, as you said, it's really overhyped for
In our opinion.
what it really is. Yeah, in
So
our
now-
opinion.
Save or burn? Burn.
I'm burning it, and I will give it a 2.5
Woo!
out of 5.
I'm going to give it a 3. I still think the cinematography and the music is doing enough to take me up to like, this is a good film. It's above average.
Yeah.
But I think I would burn it. I would never feel the need to rewatch
Right.
this.
And I remember when we got out of the movie theater, I said, I think this is the type of movie that probably a lot of people will disagree with me, but it's so forgettable.
I don't
So
know. I
forgettable.
disagree with that. I don't think it's forgettable.
I think it's
I think
forgettable.
it does, like, the subject matter is unique. The tennis is, like, there's not a movie about tennis. I think the subject and everything. Also, I love that it's, you know, like, sexually fluid a bit. Like, it's not, you know, like, the two guys technically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's interesting and that's needed. So I don't think it's forgettable.
I don't think the two guys are queer, though. I think they're willing to do anything she asks them to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they are, though. But in my opinion, that was more, you know, her watching them two kiss where...
I mean, they
because
kissed for a long
before-
time.
Yes, but before she asked them, have you guys ever, you know,
Yeah.
done anything together? And they're like, no, you know, he just thought me to jerk off.
But maybe they were, like, kind of in denial a bit.
Maybe.
I felt like maybe
Maybe.
Art was maybe queer, but not Patrick.
Okay.
Because the way he responded, like one of them jumped, like Patrick
Yeah,
jumped
yeah.
right away. No.
Maybe then it's him that's queer.
Yeah, who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah, so
yeah.
3-star. I'm gonna burn it. And just to be honest,
Yes.
I thought this movie would be in my top 5 after watching
I know.
it. Not at the end of the year. All the great film, I mean, most of them comes out in the fall. So I was expecting it to eventually come out the top 5, but I was expecting it to
Yeah.
actually enter the top 5. Number 2, like below Dune, like, to be honest.
Oh,
but
come
like
on.
maybe around Love Lies Bleeding. But no. Love Lies Bleeding is such a better film. It's not even
yes.
close to Dune to me.
Oh, boy, no.
It's kind of like
It's disappointing.
well, yeah, I mean for me, because you were not really hyped for it.
Nope.
I'm trying to think about a movie we saw that like gave me the same feel as this one.
Priscilla, I had high
Yeah.
hopes and it was let down.
Priscilla was like very pretty, but like kind of all meh.
Yeah.
I think this is better than Priscilla though, to be honest, for me.
Me too.
Priscilla's got,
Not a
I don't
lot,
even
though.
remember anything.
Me too. Me, yes. I remember the cake. Okay, you guys.
That's
and
it.
girls.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you
Let
for
us know
listening.
what you think about Challenger and call me by your name.
Let's fight in the comments.
Yes. Thank you so much. Join us every 2 weeks. Subscribe. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere you find your
And I must
podcasts.
say, I want to say congratulations on your videos where you are alone. You're doing a great job. If you haven't watched his videos or I'm not there, I suggest you go. What's your next video?
By the time this release,
Yeah.
the next one will be My Best Friend Control My Watch List.
Whoa, that's cool.
Fun time.
See ya.
I'm out here.
Bye.